Hello friends, today we are going to discuss a very important topic, sources of population data. As you know, population data is very important for various policies in India. It is very important for employment related policies. It is very important for health related policies, agricultural related policies and various other phenomena. Now, the data required for the study of population are obtained mainly through six sources, and these sources are the first most important source is population census, which is conducted after every 10 years by Government of India. Then there is a system which is called registration of vital events. For what are vital events like birth, marriages, death. Then there are population registers, civil registration system, sample registration system, and demographic surveys are there. Now, what is population census? The most fundamental source of data for the study of population is the population census. The word census is derived from Latin word censure, which means to assess or assessment. A United Nations study defines population census as total process of collecting, compiling, and publishing demographic, economic, and social data pertaining to a specified time or times of all persons in a country or delimited territory. Now, there is a modern definition of census. A census of population is the total process of collecting, compiling, evaluating, analyzing, and publishing demographic, economic, and social data pertaining at a specified time to all persons in a country or in a delimited part of a country. In other words, the enumeration of the entire population of a country or region at a particular time is known as census. Now, how to conduct census? There are two methods which are used to conduct census. The one is de facto and other one is de jure method. First, de facto method. Under this method, the Census Commission fixes a date for conducting the census throughout the country. It is usually done on a full moon night because it is pre-assumed that all households are present at their residences during that time. Actually, this technique was followed both in England and India up to 1931. Now, there are some merits of this method. It is not time consuming because of entire numeration work is done within one night. This is real enumeration because the households are actually present in their places of residence. There are some demerits of this method also. Its main defect is that persons who are traveling during the night in trains, buses, and airplanes cannot be enumerated. The second one, as the time period of enumeration is fixed for only one night, it requires large number of trained enumerators, skilled persons who may not be available, especially in developing countries like India. Thus, such a method is not practicable. That is why it was given up in India and England after 1931. The second method, that is de jure method of census. Under this method, enumeration period of 2 or 3 weeks is fixed. The enumerators collect information from households by visiting them very often to fill up the various schedules. Persons residing temporarily at a place are not enumerated. Only persons residing permanently at a place are counted in it. This is called real and direct enumeration method of census. Now, this method also have some merits and demerits. First, we discuss the merits. This is called a real method because the enumerators are given sufficient time to collect information from the households by making frequent visits to them. It is possible to collect a wide variety of information relating to sex, age, language, education, educational status, occupation, etc. For instance, the schedule of Census of India 2001 had 23 questions with 39 columns for collecting information on social and economic conditions of the population. There are some demerits. Persons who are not residing permanently at a place at time of enumeration are usually left out. The same problem arises when a person has two houses in two different towns and resides in them for the purpose of business. Besides the normal and institutional households, the homeless population that usually resides oblique sleep during the night, people sleeping in the open on roadsides, pavements, railway platforms, bus stations, parks, hospitals, etc. These people are like beggars, lepers, warrants, hawkers, vendors, migrants from other places in search of job or daily wages workers were also to be enumerated. These are some. This is some outline. Thank you very much.